She'll find it, hopefully. So we're out here, we're with the dog, and we actually just watched episode 10 of My Hero Season 2.
Yeah.
And wow. Well, actually, first and foremost, like, this is our first video, like, talking about the series in general. We just never really got around to it because, like, no one had really caught up at that point, and now we have. So, yeah. So we'll just kind of talk about, like, this, pretty much, like, I guess the climactic part of the season, which is, like, Deku versus Todoroki. And, man, was that one hell of a fight.
Oh,
especially
yeah.
just, like, in the beginning. Like, there was no, like,
it just popped off. It was, okay, fight, boom!
Boom! And, like, it's crazy how Deku is just kind of aware of, like, what all he could do.
Yeah.
And when it came down to it, like, even, like, his teacher was like, alright, like, I've told him before, like, it's not really worth being a hero if you're gonna, like, sacrifice yourself every time, but he's doing all he can in this fight. This is the pinnacle of his fighting capabilities as of right now, so I can't really dock him for that.
Yeah.
And so here you see, like, Deku just, like, sacrificing each and every finger of his, I think, his right hand.
Yeah, it was his right hand. And then his whole left arm.
Yeah. So what ended up happening was that, like, each time Todoroki was sending ice pillars straight at him, he just kept using every single one of his fingers here. And after that, Todoroki comes into the advance. He raises, like, an ice tower to run across and try to, like, go an aerial dive. Deku, like, dodges, but only gets his foot caught. And at that moment, he's like, shit!
Yeah, he realizes that he can't react quick enough to his, oh, there it is. He can't react quick enough to the attacks, and so here's a hamburger flying through the air. But, so he had to use his whole left arm just to push Todoroki away and give him some breathing room to kind of think of a strategy.
Yeah.
And in that, it startled Todoroki enough to give him a minute to, like, analyze him and see that there's frost building on him.
Right. So the idea is that, and even Bakugo, like, kind of, like, develops that just for the audience's sake, is that these quirks that everyone has, there are limits to them. It's as far as, like, what the body can even hold.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the idea of All Might's One for All. Like, you need to have the body for it. And since Deku is still a teenager, like, he can't possibly, like, withstand, like, 100%. So that's why his fingers just keep breaking.
Not only is he a teenager, but he's only had, what, 6 months of training to even build up to handle any of it.
Yeah. And so it's impressive that, like, he doesn't even break even more so with that. But having said that, with Todoroki's side, because he uses only ice, it doesn't mean, like, his body's immune to the ice, although he might be, like, a little bit used to it than other people.
I think he's immune to it, like, he won't get frostbitten or anything, but it definitely slows his body down because it's, like, hindering his movements. It just cools him.
I guess so, but, like, if he overuses it,
yeah,
then he's gonna,
I don't think he'll be, like, frozen solid.
Nah. I'm not sure if he'll ever get, like, frostbite by doing that.
That's what I'm saying. I think his body won't freeze in the same essence that his body won't burn.
I guess so, but there's definitely, like, too much to a point where, like, he will feel really cold, damaging even like, just going to a region in Zelda Breath of the Wild, you're just gonna be like,
I wonder how cold it would have to be for him, because he nonchalantly walks on his ice and
all the time.
just chills in his ice.
I mean, I guess it's part of his training.
Yeah.
Pretty sure a lot of people can have that kind of, like, endurance for it, like he could.
Yeah.
But even still, like, using an excess amount of ice would probably, like, freeze him up a little bit. And that's what Deku, like, pointed out. And the idea is that, I guess it's all part of, like, the breeding that, like, Endeavor had developed for him, was that the ice would counter his fire, so, like, he can use both in extremes. But since he only uses, like, his right side, then he's nothing but cold.
Yeah.
And so, what else is there in the fight? Deku, like, uses more of his...
Deku was actually able to land a punch without killing him.
Yeah.
Even with the power of All for One.
Yeah. It still hurt, but, like... Oh, it's over there.
It's over there, Tootsie. I can't throw it if you don't bring it to me.
But man, after like he goes through like his set of fingers over here, uses his entire fist over here. He's like, "The fuck are you looking at?" It shows that he already used another finger that he just used.
Yeah.
So like
he
you
doubled
see,
up on his fingers, and you could tell which ones he used because his fingers were purple, and then he used them again, and they started turning black. Okay.
So you got like prune colors on all digits, and they have like one finger that's like GMO prune with even darker color. But man, does that look just so painful, especially like after he uses the second finger. Even you see all that blood just kind of like slightly splurting, not slightly, but just splurting out.
Even when he first used them, he was like, "Ow!"
It definitely
his
does.
fingers were bleeding.
Yeah, but it showed a lot in this one.
Yeah.
And I guess it's because
Stop
like
biting my hair.
I guess it's just like how it is. But man, like, I mean, I can't get over the fact that like there's so many injuries to Deku, and I believe it's Alma who says it, but like it takes a lot.
No, it was
or his teacher or something. Like
yeah. What was it? The Eraser Man.
Eraserman or Eraserhead, who says like, you know, you gotta have a lot of resolve to know you're gonna put yourself in that kind of pain.
And keep going.
So what's pushing you? And the idea is that Deku is trying to get Todoroki to fight his full potential. Not just that, but also like just cast aside his grudge against his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not fully, but just enough so he can use his left side. And so
I think it was more he was insulted that everyone, including himself, is putting themselves through the ringer above and beyond everything that they should be able to do to be the best, to be number one, and be a hero.
Right.
And he thinks that he can be the best by only using half of what he is.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
so I think
yeah,
he was more insulted and angry than
Mhm.
anything else.
I see. Okay. Because that's true. Because everyone, like, especially like in the last episode, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Uraka champ?
Uraka?
I think so. Yeah.
Uraraka.
Yeah. So she's been using like her full force, and even like Bakugo had like to like keep some distance away from her because like even him admitting like there's like it limits to my own body, and you kind of actually see that in the last episode, like when he like fires at all the rubble that just comes down pouring on him, and that's where we see all the pops like throughout his muscles.
Yeah.
That means like his left hand was like at its limit at that point in time.
Mhm.
But yeah, we just see a couple flashbacks of Todoroki just kind of going through his life.
And then the tea incident.
The tea incident. What exactly happened there? Did she like actually like attack him, or was it like totally accidental?
I think in a heat of the moment action, she threw that like the water in the tea kettle at his face.
Okay, that makes sense. Because she's not that fond of Endeavor either.
She hates him
Yeah.
enough to want to abandon her child to get away from him.
Yeah, and I mean I'm not sure like if there's any closure on that. We'll probably see it later, but I hope that when Todoroki comes across like his mom specifically, we'll see him like approach Endeavor later.
Yeah.
I just hope like there can be amends, or at least just some closure on that. Because right now it's just now Todoroki has accepted his power as his own, and that's what Deku was wanting to get through his head, was that this is not, you shouldn't be a hero, or you shouldn't be doing this just for the sake of like denying your father. This is what you want to do. You want to be the hero. And so finally Todoroki acknowledges that and finally uses his left side, and you see like when that happens, like his entire like left side is on fire. It's like Two-Face.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like you instantly see all the frost that's on him start to melt away.
And when he uses those two in tandem, like first of all, like he summons like fuck huge like large amounts of ice pillars just straight at
He
Deku.
froze half the stadium.
And Deku just like uses like his left leg just like to jump over, just to give him the biggest pimp slap of his life.
Yeah, dude, he didn't make a fist. His hand was like this.
I don't think he even could make a
He
fist.
couldn't. That's what he was saying, that he can't make a fist.
And as he was jumping through it, you see Todoroki just like heat up the entire like area around him, just like with fire, and just everything feels so slowed down.
Yeah. It was like he froze the entire floor of the stadium, and then covered like waist high of the stadium with fire.
Like at that pinnacle moment, you see all the ice just like evaporate in an instant.
And explode.
And you just see like him raising his left hand like very slowly as he's just going to do whatever he was gonna do at Deku. He's just like, Midoriya, thank you. And you see the other guys, I forget the Concrete Man's name, or is that his actual?
That's his name, Concrete Man.
And you have Midnight like coming. I don't know what she did. I don't really know what she did.
I don't know what her power is. She hasn't showcased it yet, but she was gonna use it.
She's gonna use it. Maybe
her costume was starting to evaporate and turn into like a purple mist.
I think that is her power. Or like, yeah, maybe it's something that just kind of expels out of her skin. So that's why she has to kind of like a skin tight like cover to prevent it from like coming out. Unless it needs.
In her English version, she's Miss Triple X.
Miss Triple.
Yeah.
Maybe it's some kind of like sedate type of like quirk. Something that would just, you know, knock someone out. In case of like if things get really violent, as it did.
It actually makes sense for her power to kind of knock people out. She's called Midnight in Japanese, and then Miss Triple X in the English, and she looks like a dominatrix, so.
All right.
It looks like she's meant to put people to sleep, knock them out and whatnot.
Yeah. So, where after that one? Man, like Concrete Man summoned like 4 or 5 of those like concrete like pillars just to block.
Summoned 7
to soften the hit.
And it just they evaporated just from the sheer explosion that occurred.
Yeah, and what ended up happening was like Deku was like pushed all the way back from that heat and his own attack. He was out of bounds, so he lost in this fight, and Todoroki won. I'm not sure like what Deku's thinking right now, but
nothing. He's unconscious.
He's unconscious, but I mean,
he's having a sweet dream, imagining he won.
He won.
In his imagination, in his coma that he's in now.
I can imagine
he landed that hit.
I can imagine that maybe afterwards he would probably feel like a little, great, I lost, but he'd probably feel better knowing like he pushed Todoroki to that point, and we'll probably see like Todoroki go all out in the other episodes.
That'd be good. Unless
something happens. Unless some weird thing happens, because
his mom comes and throws another
teapot out of nowhere. Congratulations. Thanks, Mom. But I don't know. If anything taught me about tournament arcs for the most part, something happens in the middle of it. Like if you see Naruto and Chunin exams, Orochimaru just like like what's the phrase? We crashes the party essentially.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling like something might actually happen because like even the villains are watching this too. So they might
nationwide. I doubt they would try anything at this moment though.
Or at least like that league of villains.
They wouldn't try anything though. Because
Yeah.
remember, as soon as they heard other people were coming, they dipped.
That's true. Right, I guess it is. That makes sense because like it's a group of heroes in one like area.
All the heroes in one area.
So they wouldn't really try anything. But at the same time, I kind of want to see someone do at least someone stupid, just like to push like one of our main protagonists' like buttons.
I don't think like anybody would. I don't think anything's gonna interrupt it, but I think it's just gonna push through the tournament now and just kind of like skip through everything in a matter of speaking.
It'd be interesting, yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to Bakugo's next match. He's gonna go against.
He'd go against the metal guy, or not the metal guy, the rock guy.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see like how he'll hold his own against that.
He's going against the rock guy, and then whoever wins that, they go against.
I guess Todoroki. And yeah, Todoroki is just like too overpowered here. So I'd want to say, oh, that's gonna be interesting. I want to see like Kachan versus Todoroki. Because I want to know like who would actually win that type of fight.
Todoroki win.
I would want to say that.
Like Kachan has a fighting chance, but the fact that he's fire,
or at least
his explosions won't be able to do much.
And if Todoroki knows about like that particular quirk of Bakugo's, then
No one knows that quirk like freaking
Deku does.
Like Deku or Bakugan himself.
Yeah. Because I can imagine that Todoroki just freezes his hands and it's over. Because like as far as I can tell, like that's the only way he can like use explosions.
What I think would be the best solution for him, because it's not his arms that do the explosions, it's sweat. He sweats nitroglycerin.
Right.
And that's a highly unstable liquid that when it contacts itself, it explodes.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think would be the best solution for Todoroki to do is make it cold enough to where he can't sweat.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Like if he freezes his hands, he can't really sweat from that.
But he has sweat everywhere else.
I guess so.
And you could still throw that around.
And not to mention,
So if he just freezes the arena, it's going to be too cold for him to sweat because everyone in the crowd, even from the wind of his ice pillars, was saying it's super fucking cold.
that's true.
So if he just summons a couple of ice towers around, he can't sweat unless he really works himself. In which case he'll be too exhausted to really fight.
And we also have the fact that Todoroki has his flame side, which could actually work as possibly just like also a mid-range fight. Because Kachan also has like mid-range fighting abilities, but I've only seen him like use short range for the most part without his like costume.
Without his gauntlets, yeah. And I think without them, he is only short range. Unless he decides to do his Nova Blast again.
Nova Blast. God, that reminds me of Fantastic Four.
Go Supernova. Supernova? You said not to. Go Supernova.
Okay then. Proceeds to do so. But yeah, I am looking forward to the next episode as far as just like how Deku kind of like, I mean like,
Deku's?
yeah, his like, I guess his like newfound resolve after which he has lost. And I do hope that Todoroki, now having just kind of revived himself, I guess, essentially, I guess, would replace Deku as far as...
Rebuilt his purpose?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that tree's probably still over there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But I guess that's pretty much it as far as the episode that I wanted to really talk about.
Mhm.
I did like every single part of it. I liked how they dealt with the flashbacks. Because they could have easily done Naruto. They could have like made one full episode of Todoroki's like entire life. Because they really just could have, and we'd be like, oh, okay. But they did a good job just pointing out or highlighting the points of interest within his life that affected how he is now.
In the middle of him flying backwards.
Yeah. Or
It was always after he got punched.
He took a second to just think about my life flashing before my eyes.
Yeah. Those moments when something bad happened and you're just like, what did I do to end up in this horrible situation?
You might be asking yourself, how did this happen?
Which reminds me, after this we're gonna be watching that one movie, Wonder Guy.
Wonder.
Miraculous Lady.
All right. Yeah, I guess we can call it good here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really solid episode. That's probably the best point in the season, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure like there might be something in store for us like in the last episode, or at least the last bit of like the tournament, if we ever like see that final matchup. But otherwise, like this is probably the pinnacle, both like just the displayed animation and just like the emotional like part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we can call it good here. So yeah.
I'm gonna play with Tootsie for a
All
bit.
right. Okay. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. #bye.